Welcome to the Eviva Experience, a podcast dedicated to surviving the emotional and psychological shitfuckery of midlife. Hi there, my name is Sarah Tuckett and I'm a somatic psychotherapist based in Brisbane. Let's get on with the show. For those of you enduring the emotional and psychological chaos of perimenopause, I want you to know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. In fact, I am here to tell you that life after menopause is bloomin' fantastic. For many of us, our level of life satisfaction increases post-menopause. Our mental health improves, and women are generally happier about their life than before menopause. However, unlike other major transitions like pregnancy or puberty, there seems to be very little sympathy for what we're going through, and in fact we're usually reduced to a caricature of some crazy woman having hot flushes snapping at people. And if men suffered from this shit, millions would have been spent on medical research to reduce the symptoms and the impact on our lives. So I've written this article to tell you that there is hope and that those mental and emotional symptoms of menopause will decrease over time. So here are 5 reasons to celebrate menopause. Number 1, your brain actually undergoes a renovation during menopause. My favorite neuroscientist, and I believe everyone should have one, is author Lisa Mosconi. She's written 2 brilliant books, The Menopause Brain and The XX Brain, and I will put a link to those books below this podcast. She tells us that during menopause, the brain is undergoing a major renovation, and that when you hear all these disaster stories about menopause, what you are largely hearing about are perimenopause symptoms as your brain transitions from being run on estrogen to being in a low estrogen state. Now, it's not too hard to imagine that when this estrogen starts to run low, your brain has to recalibrate to function without it. And that's where we get all the perimenopause symptoms such as depression, cognitive difficulties, brain fog and insomnia, and even the hot flushes, which are caused by the hypothalamus, which regulates our body temperature. During perimenopause and menopause, your brain literally reboots itself to run in this low estrogen environment. And it also prunes back all the redundant skills and information it no longer needs. So I like to imagine I've got these little neurological elves in my brain going, pruning back all these files like how to make a baby? Nope, no longer needed. Get rid of that one. How to have a period? Get rid of that shit. I've had enough of that for a lifetime. And once this brain update is complete, the brain fog and the other neurological symptoms dissipate and your brain is a lean, clean machine once more. Thank bloody God. Brain fog, depression, and anxiety are just a few of the cognitive impacts of this brain transition. So if you are suffering from that, please see a GP that specializes in menopause to get proper treatment. Not all GPs receive adequate training. So I'll pop below a link to the Australian Menopause Society, and they've got a database of all of the GPs who've undergone specialist training. For those of you that can take it, HRT is a lifesaver. It can help you keep your career, your relationships, and your sanity. And I'll also put a link below to my science crush, Dr. Mosconi. She's got some great interviews and some articles. Number 2, no more surfing the crimson tide. No more periods, no more period pain, no more PMT. I remember fearing the lack of periods. I thought I would feel like an old woman. I thought I would be crumbling inside and turn into a crone. But that actually didn't happen. I'm just exactly the same, but no periods, no period pain. In fact, the other day I went to the cupboard to get some paracetamol and they'd all expired because I hadn't had any period pain for so long. For those of you suffering endometriosis, it is likely that the drop in estrogen will reduce your period pain. But for around 2 to 5% of you, you will still get pain. So again, I'm going to put a helpful link to learn about endometriosis after menopause below. Number 3, less stress about getting pregnant. Huzzah! assuming that you weren't actually trying to get pregnant, how many times did you spend stressing that you might actually be pregnant? So suddenly it's off the cards, and that level of stress vanishes in a puff of smoke. This can make sex a lot more freeing. However, with perimenopause and menopause, there is also often a change in libido, both up and down, which can affect your relationship and your sense of self as a woman. So again, please don't suffer in silence. Please see a GP that specializes in menopause or a sexologist. Also, that low estrogen situation can mean that you get sore lady parts and an increase in UTIs. See your GP about vaginal estrogen, which you can take even if you can't take HRT. Also, if you are one of those people who grieves the loss of your childbearing years, please reach out to someone. I can remember that me and a few friends, we talked about it. We were all grieving our ability to have children. So just know it's a normal thing, but please speak to someone. Number 4, 0 fucks given. Hello, boundaries. You might start standing up for yourself more. Asking for what you need. Go on, shock the hell out of your partner by saying what you really feel. Now, your nearest and dearest may be slightly surprised by this change in your personality. You may also be feeling overly emotional, snappy, irritable, prone to fits of rage, which can be really discombobulating and energetically draining. It can also be slightly career limiting if you tell everyone to get fucked. So my suggestion is that you talk to someone if you need emotional support. And also, again, see your GP if you think HRT could help out here. 5. This is not the end of your life. Remember me saying I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be some old crone, I'm going to shrivel up inside. That didn't happen. This is not the end of your life. Far from it. I bet you've got a whole heap of skills and experience and talents to share with the world. And now that the clusterfuck of perimenopause and all those horrible symptoms are receding, this could be a time when you really step into your power. You'll have the energy and the focus once more to be able to do what you want. This could be your second spring. What do you want to do with this next phase of your life? If you're feeling stuck, my suggestion would be that you start by finding out what your key strengths are. And there are some fabulous online tests. There can be either paid or unpaid versions. But once you know what your key strengths are, you can start shaping your life, your career, your activities to align with those strengths so that you feel better about yourself and it's more in line with your life values and your life goals. So again, I'll pop some links below this podcast. Now, if you are suffering, if you're feeling really at a loss or stuck, please reach out for help. This is a really turbulent time, mentally, emotionally, and physically. You don't need to go it alone. Please reach out to me or to a counsellor near you. Now, I've been slightly sweary and cheeky and irreverent in this podcast, but I do not mean to diminish any anguish or suffering you may be going through. So please reach out to a mental health professional in your area if you are suffering. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to today's podcast. I have a question for you. How do you want to feel today? Powerful, playful, or present? Download my free guide, Feel Your Va-Va-Voom in 60 Seconds, and find out how.